Hey Queens, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about, are you really good looking and single? Are you pretty hot and having problems in your dating life? Or you're not getting from men what you want? So if that's you, then keep on watching. Now, we're going to be talking about looks. We're going to be talking about sex appeal. And sex appeal is not looks. It doesn't have anything to do with looks. So it means we're going to talk about your sex energy, your sexual energy. And we're going to talk about how to use this to your advantage, which is part of the dark feminine energy. And we're going to break it down. We're going to see why this has not been working out. And yeah, we're going to elaborate on the topic. But also, I want you to learn how to use your gifts, right? So this video is for everyone, not just for the women that are good looking and single having issues, but also for anyone on how to use your own sex appeal and your own gifts, okay? So how do we know that things have backfired? You have been using your sexual energy against your own self. How has this backfired? So it means that you use your looks, your sexual energy to get a lot of attention. Now, that's where the problem comes. Because attention, what it means, it literally means nothing. So you can get attention from any man at any time, 24/7. Anyone can get attention. And attention, it doesn't mean anything. Because when you are getting attention, all you're doing is looking for that validation. You see? So when you're dressed really provocative, showing a lot of skin, dress is too tight, showing, tits, showing ass, legs, everything. So you have normalized showing everything. This is when it's backfiring because you're getting all the attention, but you're going home empty-handed. What I'm saying is, did you get married and have you been married for 10 years plus? Probably not, right? So I want to talk about an example of a girl that I was seeing on Instagram. This is not to shame her or anything like that. The reason that I'm bringing this example is for you to see if you are falling in this category. So this influencer is always wearing pretty much nothing, like always showing everything. So she goes to this Halloween party and she's dressed as how do you call it? BDSM, like Catwoman, like dominatrix Catwoman. And this outfit is a thong, and you can literally see what she ate yesterday type thing, right? She got a lot of backlash on Instagram a lot of women like actually shaming her, and I'll talk about shame maybe in the video, or maybe some other time. A lot of women shaming her, a lot of women telling her to have some self-respect. I think the men were probably applauding or telling her like some, sexual comments, right? And when you stop to look at the past of this girl, she actually has a YouTube channel, and she spoke about being abused as a child, being molested for many years by one of her family members. So she had normalized being naked in public, pretty much. And I'm not talking like literally naked, but pretty close to it. So you get the gist. And I don't know if this is your case. I'm not sure if everyone who does this goes through this. But what I want to say is lust is not a compliment from a man. His attention, his sexual attention to you, his lust is not a compliment. It's nothing to brag about. It's nothing for you to feel like it's going well with men if you get a lot of attention. A real compliment is when a man wants to spend his life with you. When he gives you a ring and he tells you that you're the one, not only he tells you, but he's showing you that you are the one. So let's talk about sex appeal. Let's talk about the role of looks. The frick, this hair, man, is driving me up the wall. It's driving me insane. I want to like rip it off. So let me just say that sexual energy is something that every single woman out there has to have. For you to be well-rounded, for you to be in your absolute divine feminine energy and power. Okay? So you having a bunch of sex appeal, you being sexy, you being attractive, is super important. And this is not the same as being pretty. Okay? So pretty is, a pretty face, and sexy is a vibe. And what I want to talk about here is this vibe. How do you use it to your advantage? Okay, so remind me that I need to talk about an example. But before that, let's just recap. What is sex appeal for? Sexual energy is one of the single most powerful energies in the world, in the universe. This energy is stronger than anything that you can think of. It's probably the strongest energy out there. So it's a huge magnetic force that you can have, right? And let me just say, sex appeal, like I said, is not a pretty face. It's not something you're necessarily born with. I'll explain this. But it's something you have to step into, this vibe. Because why? Looks and sex appeal, they get you to the door. They get you to the door, but what really keeps you in the house is something else. Okay? Let me talk about the example that I wanted to talk about. So when I was young, like 12, 13, I used to be like kind of miserable that I didn't get like this skinny like jeans, and I didn't have like the perfect skin. I wasn't someone who was really up there in the looks category. And I was always like, why didn't I get them? The skinny like jean, like, I bitched about it for a long time. And one day, one of my clients a very long time ago, she was someone that was literally the most breathtaking woman you've seen in the planet. She was stunning, like literally breathtaking, to the point where you're like, whoa. And you would imagine, why does such a hot, good-looking woman need my coaching? And let's just remember, supermodels, super hot women actresses, top models, you know how they get cheated on? You know how they get dumped? Well, the reason for that is that looks get you to the door. And even sex appeal, they get you to the door. They don't keep you in the house. So back to my client. I was like, yeah, wow, like how can someone like this not be like, I don't know, have marriage proposals from kings and things, right? Well, as I continued to get to know her in our coaching practice, I was blown away. Like she did not have what I had. And what I had was this incredible self-respect and confidence, right? Even if I didn't consider myself someone particularly like good looking or that kind of thing, I had something. I had something that back in the day, I couldn't explain what it was. So part of that was sex appeal. It was like a natural thing. And if you're into human design, and you know your human design and all that, and you have the gate 59, typically people with the gate 59 have that innate sex appeal. But beyond that, again, it was something I had because I didn't care. Even if I didn't consider myself the prettiest girl in the planet, I had no issues telling people to fuck off if I needed to say that. Right? So I was the kind that was lucky with men always. Why? Because when I was younger, I didn't want to have boyfriends or any of that because I was busy doing my thing as a manifesting generator. I had goals to accomplish. I had all these, I was living abroad, competing in fitness, this and that. So I always thought it's kind of a waste of time to have a boyfriend when I'm not going to get married. So why bother? So part of that I don't care energy is that I didn't want I didn't want any commitment. I didn't want to be with a man. So not caring was always something that attracted them to me, right? So, I still went out with them and all that stuff, but I was like, and I had no issues with boundaries, like saying no and respecting myself, right? So I don't know, it also helped that I had a nice height. I had you know, a pretty good body at the time, competing in fitness and all that. Long, long, healthy hair always helps, of course. People always ask me, like, oh, like, are you ever going to cut your hair? The answer is no, because I don't know if you know this, but hair has a superpower. It, even if you're not all that, it instantly gives you a sex appeal. I really don't know what it is, but it's just the way it is. And of course, it's a scientific fact. But so, of course, those things helped me. But what kept me in the house was my dark feminine energy. I've always been someone who chooses myself first, who has zero problem saying no, whom, people back in the day used to know me as being selfish, but today I'd be just simply someone that has pretty huge dark feminine energy, in that I always fill my cup first and then give from my overflow. So back to my client, I for the first time in my life, I was like, you know what? And because back in the day I was like, oh, like, why didn't I get the perfect looks, right off the bat, all that stuff. So when I was coaching her and I finally got to see what I had, right, is when I said, I'll keep what I have. That dark feminine energy, that self-respect of choosing always myself first, right? So she had been through all these marriages and like abusive relationships and things, because she was your quintessential nice girl that will never say no, will always go along. If the man wants her to live with, if the man wants her to live with him for a century, she'll go along with it. For example, I tell you no. Why would I live with you? Like, you're not my husband. Why would I remove myself from the market when what do I have to, what are you offering me? So I always had this attitude. And when I say attitude, I don't mean like, like whatever, right? But this type of dark feminine energy where you choose yourself first and your well-being first, and choose your desires, and all of that is what really keeps you in the house. It's not your looks and your sex appeal. It also is a hook. It's a magnet, okay? So if you are blessed with really beautiful looks and this and that, and you're not getting what you want, is because you probably are giving your sexual energy to men for free, kind of like without having it earned. But earning means a commitment. A commitment is not words. A commitment is, I show you with my intentions that I want to spend a life with you. Like him wanting to fuck you. Like, how is that a compliment? How is that? It's validating for sure. It's an ego boost that will last you half an hour. But the real compliment is when he wants to spend his life with you. And the real power is when you use your sex appeal, your looks, to get what you want. And hopefully what you want is not attention and validation. Hopefully what you want is long-term well-being for you and your children, which is a stable, happy family with a father that is a protector and provider. That is what's best for you in the long term. And what do I know what is best for you? Of course, right? I'm just really hoping you're not looking for instant gratification in the short term, because that's what, has the whole thing upside down. So what else do I have here? So know your gifts, right? So even if you didn't have the perfect looks, sex appeal is something any woman can have. And I talk a lot about building sex appeal and that creating that vibe of sex appeal in the course that I'm building that is coming out in the beginning of next year. It's the quintessential dark feminine energy course that will stop you from being the cool girl, the nice girl, like my client that no matter how drop dead gorgeous she is, or by the way, she's still single. She was only my student for a short period of time. And her problem was that she said she didn't believe in marriage after she had 2 or 3 failed marriages. So what can I say, right? So yeah, ladies, if you're getting a lot of attention, a lot of validation from men, remember that it only lasts really shortly. And I want you to use your looks, your sex appeal as a hook to get what you want, to get the queen treatment that you want. Okay, so that is pretty much the gist. You're wasting your sex appeal, your sex energy, which is your life force energy, if you're giving it away for free to random men or to men that make you audition by having you, be their girlfriend. That auditioning energy where you're giving away your sexual energy, you're not using it to your advantage, you're not getting what you want. So know how to use it, and knowing how to use it means get what you want first, and then we can see about that. But again, if you're giving this stuff to a man that is not your husband, trust me, it's going to be like a revolving door, like a carousel. Your body count is going to get through the roof. And I mean, you do you, boo, right? But that's cute when you're 20, but when you're in your 30s, it's like, how are you feeling about that? I don't want you to feel like that. I want you to feel like you are winning in the department of love and relationships. because that's why you have your looks. That's why everyone has access to sex appeal, to their sexual energy. That's highly attractive. So, ladies, that's all for now. Let me know if this resonates. Let me know in the comments if you have had issues with this. Bye now.